During the holiday break, I actually missed quite a few things that I wanted to cover. Sadly, I got very ill and it required surgery and needed a fix. It wasn't anything major, but it was something that I actually had to do and go through, and it was a bit of an ordeal. Thank you guys for being very patient when I took the holiday season off and had to go through that ordeal. As I start to settle back into things, and I'm now streaming more on a regular basis, and I'm starting to get back into my video content, one of the things I wanted to address first was clearly a game that looks like another Day Before scam. I knew absolutely nothing about this game until it was brought to us by Force Gaming, in which it's called the Quinfall. So thank you guys for stopping in. My name is Gumrack. I am a variety streamer over on Twitch, and we're going to be taking a look at what's been reported by Neon, Asmongold, Force Gaming, and a great number of other people. We're currently at 983 subs of the 1,000 that we're trying to reach. So if you do like the content today, hit the subscription button, hit the bell notification to know when I put out a new video. My videos are pretty sparse at the moment. Without further ado, let's talk about the Quinfall. This is supposed to be a new MMO that is coming out with a impressively large 2016 square kilometer map, which they constantly press in your face as the selling point for the game. The issue with the game is that a content creator named Neon has actually exposed the game for being largely comprised of asset packs. A good portion of that is what you're going to be able to see above, because this is the release video that they put out, and I'm just going to let it run in the background so that you can see basically what we're talking about at this time. But before we go any further with that, I want to make something very perfectly clear. Most of us content creators do not give a shit if you use asset packs or not. There are tons of examples of games that have used asset packs, including one of the most played games ever, PUBG. Assets are not the problem. The issue comes into the fact that people think it's a scam based off of the way that you have presented your advertising. It's the same problem that we have seen with Anthem when it came out, and even AAA companies that still have issues with this. It's not the fact that you use assets. It's the fact that you use the assets so squarely in your advertising and so broadly across your universe that the statement that you're trying to back away from this and actually replace them with your own assets over time seems absolutely ludicrous. See, when you put out videos and advertising for the game and you use it in the manner that you have done with your trailer, you set an expectation level for your player base. One, because they expect to be able to see the things that you've supplied in the video, and two, if you back away from them with your own assets, you're either going to get sued by the people that you got the assets from because you made them look exactly alike, or you're going to disappoint your fan base because they're not going to get what you've already shown them, because you'll have to make it wildly different. Additionally, it's hard to actually say that you're going to be able to replace all the assets that you've decided to use, because there's so many of them and so many rooted into place, such as all the little items that you see for tables and scraps like that when you're around town. There's just so many items to be replaced, including actual full levels that are designed by another team and then put together. The only thing that I can say to it is the statement that you put out where you said you're trying to actively seamlessly make those work. For me, I just don't understand that if you're going to make the monumental effort to continue to make packs that you buy work and improve as changes are done to the engine, especially since it's supposed to be a live service MMO, that it seems like you should have designed your own stuff to begin with. Now, don't get me wrong, me and Force Gaming happen to share the same sentiment in which assets are made and they are put on the store for people to buy and use. I mean, that's just what it is, and we have lots of people who use them in either to learn game development or even put together decent games. But being completely transparent about it is the only way that you make that happen. In fact, the company has stated that they are going to be more transparent about it and has even made a statement about the assets. It's a simple black and white text like we've seen before. It says, as we continue to develop the world's largest MMO universe, Quinfall, spanning an impressive 2,016 square kilometers, we want to maintain transparency with our users. In our development process, we leverage some ready-made assets to focus more on refining general mechanics and enriching the overall content. Our approach emphasizes that the significance lies not in using ready-made assets, but in creating a versatile structure that can incorporate them seamlessly. This is probably the best statement that you could have made when addressing the issue, because it's transparent and it tells people exactly what's going on. However, it continues to go on with stating how you want to be considered Volrec Technologies rather than Volrec Studio because you're now using AI. Depending on the AI that you're using, that could get you into trouble because it has been known to pull sources from other people's material, which means you would have to limit the AI to using your own material on probably a database that holds directly just for that AI to pull from. It just seems like a lot of work for something that could have been done from scratch from the beginning as a normal studio. So you spent more time getting the AI to work seamlessly and put all these together than you did just developing your own assets. This creates kind of a PR nightmare for you guys because now you have people who are looking at your product like it was the day before, and that's just going to be a flip and dump. Putting out a new video in which you show exactly what the game is going to look like and what to expect, and even if you do use a ready-made asset, pointing it out to people and letting them know that the asset will be changed and what you're going to be changing about it, and either to make it individually suit you. Otherwise, it just looks like something directly from the pack. And while I can appreciate you working on making the systems work better and more smoothly before working on a defined visual experience, then that information should have been done as your advertising, showing the behind the scenes studio work and things that you're doing to put that together to make those items work, than it is to show off the trailer and making people believe that the game is going to look a particular way that may completely change, and you can easily hide behind the early access or beta tags and either to say, well, gameplay can change at any time. Unfortunately, that's now how public perception works. You have the heavy use of the word scam, even though you haven't collected any money, because scam in itself is also the attempt to deceive people into believing something that they're going to get that they are not. Having one of your player members see the ranger where they pull their bow back and make several copies of themselves as an ultimate move or even a standard move, however you have it set up, is what that person is expecting. And then when they get in the game and it's something completely different, it's going to cause a little shock and awe, especially if they see it before it's even released, which may turn the person off of the product altogether. If there's one thing I've learned about indie titles lately, especially like a title like Transience, you're going to have several teams that are going to be needed, and sometimes you don't have that available. It's almost impossible for a single developer to know every aspect of development, considering how large these engines are now and how complicated they are. So it makes sense when you have a small team or an indie team, or you're missing a specific type of member for your team, that you would use assets and either to replace that or speed up the process, or if you have any kind of shortcoming when it comes to the ability to be able to do so. That is, at the end of the day, what those assets are made for to begin with. So there really is no issue with you using them. It always boils down to how you display what your game is going to be long before it's even going to be released. So the problem with today is that we have access to technology that makes it really easy to make some ridiculously good trailers. The issue with that is that the people who are creating the advertising frequently aren't the same people who are doing the development, and therefore it gets lost in translation, and they get a bunch of footage that's supplied to them that they put amazing, awesome trailers together, but don't proceed to give you the perception of the game that you actually are developing. And that is what caused the rumble and roar for your title and being labeled as a scam. There's also the issue of being a Turkish developer. While it's not an issue to be a Turkish developer, there are all kinds of information, even misinformation on the internet, on some of the things that are happening in Turkey, especially when it comes to money. And when you are developing a shop that requires people to be able to buy items not on Steam and directly through your own website, it just raises some eyebrows. Luckily, some of the statements that you've put out recently gives me a moniker of hope that you're going to be able to put things together in a manner that is going to allow people to be able to see what you're doing and increase your transparency. So far, it seems to be working, but we'll have to see what the final product looks like. The issue that you're going to run into is being able to pay for the rights to be in a beta test, which in this particular case, none of us as content creators are ever going to suggest to our viewer base that they purchase into a game that may or may not be a flip and may or may not be a decent game at all upon its release, yet alone for money to be able to get into a beta. You should probably drop that shit idea at the door as soon as possible and actually come up with closed beta tests that are just available to either select individuals or an open beta test to the public. Because making people pay for it, especially through websites where they have no recourse if they want their money back, is not a brilliant idea. For now, what I'm going to tell my viewers is if the transaction doesn't go through Steam, they should not be giving you any money at all. And that's going to be my stance on it at this point in time. I hope the studio gets a chance to see my feedback and actually act on it, and hopefully we'll see some turnaround from them, because we never want to see a project fail. We just want them to be truthful, honest, and transparent before we give them any of our fucking money. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscription, like, and all the buttons. And I will see you guys in the next video. And you guys can see me live on Twitch currently Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's where my limit is set currently. I hope to see you guys there. Have a wonderful day. Peace.